First of all, we need to stop thinking it's a man's world. There's more women here than there are of men in Africa. That's the first thing. It's a woman's world. First thing. I think the second thing is get to know yourself, girl. I mean, get to know yourself, know where you want to go. And it's important to have that vision clear because that is what will dictate what you do on a daily basis. If you know where you're going, then you don't lose your time on the road. You really focus and you put in the right actions one after the other to get there.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaleka Amusa, the founder of Just for Women Africa, and today we're with Marjorie Saint Lot, the country manager for Uber, Ghana and Ivory Coast. You're welcome to the show, Marjorie.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Marjorie, could you just tell us briefly about yourself?
What is there to say? I always say it's Marjorie. I'm a woman. I've been in tech for quite some time now. I think I jumped into tech in 2007 in the telecoms in Haiti. I've been operating in innovation and developing new business model or adapting new business model to the region for now almost 8 years. And prior to joining Uber, I was at Orange, helping them build their external growth strategy. That included both mergers and acquisitions, but also the creation and adaptation of new business model for them. And yeah, it's been 3 years now since I've been at Uber, 1 year covering both countries. It's been an incredible ride so far.
Okay, that's great. All right, so can you tell us what it's been like working in an environment which is basically like male-dominated in tech? And there's a report out there which says that, in Africa, less than 30% of women are in tech, and you happen to find yourself in that field. How does that make you feel, but also having to work with men?
I don't know, people love asking that questions. I'll be honest with you, I'm just really enjoying the ride. I think I'm really, really excited about the sector. Everywhere I go, I talk about the excitement and the opportunities there is in tech right now in Africa. And it is really the place to be in. Do I feel privileged or do I feel, it's an incredible opportunity, right? I don't necessarily focus on the fact that it is a man's world. I want to say that tech or transport are not the only elements where it is a man's world, but quite contrary, focus on my abilities to have an impact, my ability to innovate, and my ability to bring value. So I don't really feel any way other than I'm so grateful to have this opportunity, and I encourage most women to come in. There's so much to do.
Okay, talk about encouraging so much women to come into. Uber is a car fleet company, and basically is dominated by men driving around. What you've been head of Uber for Ghana and Ivory Coast since 2019. What has been done to encourage women to come on board, to drive along men?
It's a very good question. I actually happen to be co-chairman of Women at Uber for SSA as well, and also hold a pretty hang on that strategy to drive our women driver numbers up, right? We've done a few things across Africa to do that. First of all, we've done some solid partnerships. Move, which is one of our exclusive fleets that works with us in Africa, has also taken the bait to have their women driver base increase up to 50% of their entire driver base. We've done some social service fee reduction in Ivory Coast to encourage fleets that are 100% or close to 100% female driven. We're also building partnerships to build skills, because what we found is that where women, like men, have issues around vehicle access, there is a true opportunity around building their entrepreneurship skills or building their financial inclusion skills. And there we've partnered up with EcoBank to provide some upskilling on the financial inclusion part, both in Ivory Coast and in Ghana. But we've also partnered up with the AMA Institute across Africa, particularly for the South African drivers, to get access to entrepreneur skills. I think this is a work in progress. What we need to do is to strengthen the community of women drivers within themselves so that they can collaborate with each other, they can give each other's tips. They can also encourage their sisters, their cousins, their friends to join. So we have specific referral programs in certain countries for women to refer other women. And we will continue to strive to build these initiatives for women. Safety is always at the heart of our concern, and it's always, I would think it's also top of mind for women drivers. And there we've done some things. We've launched a women driver only product in South Africa. It is a product that we're looking at. So there's only like 5 countries in the world that have launched that product. South Africa is our test market for Africa. And we're looking at providing that product to more countries as well. So what it is, it's a product where you have a woman driver that only drives women riders as well. We are strengthening our overall safety features, such as audio recording that's coming to Ghana very soon, but also in Ivory Coast. The emergency button that is live in our market. We just actually made some adjustments even today with the police coming in and whatnot, so we have quicker responses as well. So there's multiple things that we're putting in place to strengthen both the women driver positioning, but overall like the safety of our drivers on the platform.
Okay, that's quite interesting to know. So over the years, has the percentage of women driving Uber, has it increased or has it decreased?
It has. Like I'd said, with the different initiatives that we've rolled out, South Africa is a very good example where we had 3% of women driver, and now today we're at 8%. In Ghana, we're seeing that number increasing as well. We're going to be building some very specific initiatives for the Ghanaian population and also the Ivorian population to see that number grow. But in my time in staying in both of these countries, I did see some evolution.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's great to hear. Okay, so as a leader over the years, what have you learned as a woman being a leader? I mean, running a multinational company, like working in a multinational company like, like Uber.
Humility, if I might say. No, I think it's the number one lesson I've learned as a leader, right? You don't know it all. You don't know it all. And I'm learning every day, and I think the moment that I truly grasp the notion of humility, which is way before I joined Uber, I was able to tap into the immensity of things that you can learn on a daily basis, and you can learn from anyone. I think that's the first thing. The second thing, I think, at least in my leadership skills, I've always been an empathetic person, but I think as I'm growing into a leader and as I'm getting my scope of work increased, empathy and emotional intelligence becomes really, really something that I have to tap into on a daily basis.
Okay.
Not everything is written, not everything is said. Being able to detect things and to detect where your team members are feeling, where the market is going is so important. And it's not, those are not hard skills, right? It's really in your ability to feel things. And I think today it's probably my second armor that I carry on a daily basis, right? And then, I would say the third thing is the vision, right? I think you need to continue to nourish the vision. And the vision, often we're in a global company. And I love that saying, we're in a global company, but we think locally. That vision needs to be nourished by the realities of the markets in which we operate in. While we look at bringing innovations and products and services that may come abroad, but we have to be able to adapt them so that they fit into the usage of our world today, but they're also the right products and services that we'll need for tomorrow. So I think vision is something that's dynamic. And that you have to continue to find ways of nourishing that and building that so you can be at the edge of innovation.
Okay, that's well said. All right. So as a leader, to women out there who are working and who get harassed every day, as a leader, what do you think companies can do to ensure that when employees are harassed, is reported, and when it's reported, it is handled properly, and to ensure that it doesn't happen again?
I love the process that we have at Uber, we have a whistleblower process. It's an anonymous way of raising concerns. Generally, how it's done is you send through an email or through a Slack channel that you inform your concern. They generally go in and get witnesses when they can't. to interrogate everybody that may have been close enough to a situation. And then I don't want to say they confront, but they speak to the person that's being impacted by this whistleblower. And the way things are done is that you don't fear to call things out, because you know that every single case that is brought up is looked into. And even if a case is brought against you as an individual, you always also have a voice. So there's a way that it's been done where there's fairness, where everybody is included, and there's actual real actions being taken in place. And I think there's no better way to create a safe environment than to know that once you raise your hand or you raise your voice, somebody is listening and there's actual actions being taking place in that.
Okay, all right, I do agree with you on that. All right, it is said that women are promoted slower in organizations around the world than men. What's your opinion on that, and what do you think can be done to ensure that women are promoted much more quicker, than men in the work field?
It's a very good question. I think like the data is there, right? So I'm not going to contest the data. What I will say is that as women, we need to stop waiting that we tick everything in the box before we raise our hand and say, hey, I'm going to jump. I think this is where often we fail as women, is that we don't necessarily, we wait till we have everything tick before we raise our hand and jump the leap. I think we need to rise and voice our ambitions, and make it clear in terms of what we want to do, where we want to achieve, what we want to achieve, and how we want to achieve it. And I also think that there is an opportunity for all of us, right? We are often the ones that are holding us back. That being said, we're in an environment where we need to continue coaching around us. I'm a strong believer in male allyship, and even male allies sometimes have those biases in place. So we need to, on a daily basis, coach them, show them, pinpoint them, hey, watch out, that's a bias that you're making. And by doing that, and by taking our future in our own hands, I do believe we will make those numbers move, right? I was asked a question last week about why aren't we seeing enough women in tech, or why aren't we seeing enough women in leadership? And I'm saying, because there's not enough women leaders speaking. We're always in a lot of these environments, they're male dominated, but there's a whole bunch of women there. And it's not the women that are coming in the conferences. It's not the women speaking in the media. It's not the women voicing themselves. So we actually really need to start taking that mic and start speaking, and start showing to our younger sisters, our daughters, that there are women leaders. We're there. And we are moving that paper, and we are making things advance, right? So we need to have more illustrations of women, and the ones that are in the position, they need to start voicing themselves and stop waiting to get ready for the next move. You're already ready.
I like that. You're already ready. Okay, so we bring you to the next question as we round up the interview. You've been Uber since 2019 and all. What's the future for Marjorie Saint Lot?
The future I don't know. I wish I had I wish I could tell you. What I can tell you is that I decided a very long time ago that I was going to have impact. So in my future, I will continue to have impact. And I think, as I was just mentioning earlier on, I'm starting to like this thing about saying I'm stepping up and I'm voicing loud and clear. So in the future, I will be voicing even more about the impact that we're creating, and the impact in the areas where we need to create impact. I think the second thing that's important for me is innovation. When I moved back home in 2012, it was to innovate. It was to create. And I've been doing this for years, and I will continue doing this. Uber is a great place, honestly. I've been here for 3 years. I've had multiple opportunities opening up to me. And every time that the company is able to bring a new opportunity to me, I raise it. And so I think part of it is me raising my hand saying, hey, I'm open to new opportunities. And it's also about the company bringing up opportunities to me. So for as long as there's gonna be that, I'm here. right?
Let's go. All right. So to everybody who's watching on YouTube and the rest of the world, enjoying the interview, and to women especially, what's your advice to women out there in Africa who feel that it's a man's world? They feel that they need money to be able to start something, a business. They feel that even in the professional career is a challenge, climbing up the ladder. They feel that they get sexually harassed if they want to get something done. What's your advice to them out, basically?
Oh wow, there's so many topics here that we're sharing. First of all, we need to stop thinking it's a man's world. There's more women here than there are of men in Africa. That's the first thing. It's a woman's world. First thing. I think the second thing is get to know yourself, girl. I mean, get to know yourself, know where you want to go. And it's important to have that vision clear, because that is what will dictate what you do on a daily basis. If you know where you're going, then you don't lose your time on the road. You're really focused and you put in the right actions one after the other to get there. I think when it comes to the ones that want to build and create a business, for example, we always think, oh, we need money. No, what you need is a good idea and a solid plan to get there. The money comes. There's like most investors, they don't look at opportunities or business cases that have money. They look at good ideas where they can make money. So finding money is actually not the first step. The first step is getting that big idea, and then the resources will come. When it comes to the women that are in office, and they're talking about, how do I go up the ladder? I didn't say it, but I'm a mother of 4. Being a mother never prevented me of building my career. Why? Because I was always clear what I wanted to do. And though that clarity will translate in everything that you do and in the way that you behave within the business. And that in itself is the one that's going to open the doors. It's going to help you facilitate voicing up. It's going to help you detect opportunities that maybe are not written. I think before my job at Uber, the job I had at Orange was literally almost created for me in a way. It's the ability to see an opportunity, seize it, and then draw the lines of that opportunity, right? But that starts from step number 1, get to know yourself. Get to know yourself, build that clarity in your vision, and the rest, everything falls into place. And then I think the last thing is, it's a hard world, and nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. And even the ones that you feel that have been handed up all the cards because they come from big families, they go to the best colleges, which by the way, I didn't do any of this big Ivy schools or any of these things. There's some hurdles that they have to deal with. There is nothing that is easy and that comes easy. So girl, lift up your arms, get ready to go to work and put in the work for what you want. So get to know what you want and get ready to put the work to it.
All right. Okay, I'm not saying that was the last question, but this would really be the last question. Then we'll round up the interview. All right. So, okay, you did mention you're a mother of 4, and how are you able to balance, family, work, and all that to be able to be a successful woman?
Oh my God, I get these questions all the time as well. I stopped being hard on myself. I'm not going to be perfect at everything. And I think that's the first thing is with the humility. You're not going to be perfect at everything. Do your best when you can. I think what I love about working at Uber is the flexibility that I have as well. I cover 2 countries. Today I'm in Ghana, but I live in Ivory Coast. So I'm able to adapt my schedule. When I'm home, I work a lot from home. I'm very present for my kids. We used to have dancing classes together. I have all the teachers on my WhatsApp, so I'm able to communicate with them. But I think the first thing for me is clarity. Mm-hmm. So my priorities are clear, and I organize my life based on those priorities. And then I'm humble about it because, hey, I am gonna miss some things. Sometimes they'll be at work, sometimes they'll be at home. I haven't found the solution of ubiquity yet. I'm not able to divide my body in 3 or 4. So yes, I do the best that I can, and I have a very transparent relationship with my children. They love the work that I do. When they can, they come. They've been in different drivers initiatives with me, and they're there, you know. And I think that's important as well. I think that's what creates that kind of harmony in what I'm doing.
All right. Thank you, Marjorie. Thanks for doing the interview with us. Wish you all the best, and we look forward to interviewing again in the future.
It was my pleasure.
And to viewers who are watching, click subscribe, tell a friend who knows about Just Women Africa. And to the next show from Marjorie and I, it'll be bye.
Bye.